Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. This is Newsmakers, the video series that brings you beyond the car washing and detailing headlines. Today on our Newsmaker interview, Carl Howard, Chief Operating Officer at Autobell Car Wash, joins us. Hello, Carl, and thank you for being with us here today.
Thanks for having me.
So today's topic is the news of Autobell's early response to the coronavirus and other updates. I reached out to a few operators in mid-March, Carl, really as our country was grappling with the reality of coronavirus coming here to the United States and kind of growing out of control really in March. So we grabbed a couple of, like I said, couple of quotes from some operators during that time, and Autobell was one of those operators, and your chain was already employing solutions on the front line. So can you tell us a little bit about those early days and how Autobell had such an early response to the pandemic while other operators were still trying to scramble with solutions?
Well, we were very fortunate to have been testing a product back in the fall of 2019. We got introduced to a product called Pure Tabs. It's essentially a tablet type product that dissolves in water, and then you use a fogging device to coat the interior of a vehicle while you're running the AC on fan high and low on temperature. It circulates it through the car, takes about a minute to dwell. So we had already tested that product and felt pretty sure that it would be the answer that we were looking for to keep, number one, our customers, and number one, our employees safe. Both. We want to keep them both safe. So having tested that, we were able to roll that out really quickly. We already had a supplier lined up, and it was a matter of getting the product into our warehouse and getting it out to our stores at that point. So we were able to turn that around in about 5 to 6 days, and we're able to operate efficiently and effectively and clean safely, which was the main thing, interiors of vehicles. I really didn't want to go to a situation where we could only do exteriors. I really wanted to be able to, not only serve the customers that were able to come in because they were essential workers, but also any others that wanted to come in. We did a ton of first responders. We did fire trucks. We did postal workers' vehicles, doctors and nurses, certainly. So it was a great service for our core customer, but also those folks who were looking for a solution until they could get their own solutions in place.
Okay. And what changes did your chain have to make moving forward after those initial decisions to operate safely in the spring and into the summer?
So we initially closed all of our lobbies. So our customers were waiting outside. Luckily, for most of our area, it was beginning to get warm. It was I'd call it early to mid-spring in our operating area, so it wasn't really uncomfortable to do that. We did also engage in sanitation wiping, so we wiped all areas clean every couple of hours, all the doorknobs, bathroom areas, common areas that our employees would use throughout the day. We also, after the car is wiped down, we use that same solution to wipe down any touch areas. So, for example, the push button starts, gear shifts, console areas, door handles. So we wipe all those areas down clean so the customer feels good. Not only have we cleaned it once, but twice, and they are perfectly safe. We had also, obviously, we're social distancing, advising our employees, training our employees to maintain social distance. In cases where we do have to work a little closer, if we have 2 people inside a car vacuuming, for example, we'll have them in masks. Even though primarily we're working outside and in the areas where we operate, we're not required to do that. But because sometimes, again, our employees are close proximity, we want them in masks to protect them from each other.
Okay. And shifting gears here, Carl, we're seeing more operators partner with private equity firms over this past decade, especially the larger chains such as Autobell. Can you briefly explain the decision for your company as one such chain or large chain to remain private, and have you completely ruled out uh, one such partnership with a private equity firm into the future?
So, primarily for us, we feel like we have a stable operating platform and a growth model that we can carry forward into the future. Oftentimes, when you have private equity join in your company, I'd say the vast majority of the time they want control. And at this point in time, we're not ready to yield control. And we have solid leadership in the company. We feel very good about our positioning. We've got adequate financing for the foreseeable future. So obviously, private equity is a different way of financing growth or other opportunities. We just have found that we have not needed that. That doesn't mean that we would ever, forever rule it out. There are private equity companies that will accept minority positions in companies. But at this time, we choose to remain completely private and family.
Okay. And we see Autobell continuing their steady growth in traditional as well as new markets for the chain. Will this growth strategy continue moving forward?
Pretty much. We may see some opportunities to buy more existing in the near future, depending on the outcome of this pandemic and how different operators are situated. There may be some that are wanting to retire at some point in the future. So we may see some of that, some purchasing existing. It's certainly quicker to purchase an existing as far as permitting, as everyone knows. And usually we can plug in our system into an existing car wash and change it around for us to make it work. But clearly we have projects now that we are continuing to work on, ground ups and such as that. And we constantly test different things too to see if we can add to our model. Certainly this disinfection service was a test and a well-timed test. Thankfully, we were blessed to test that product when we did. And so we're constantly trying out different things. That doesn't mean they always work, because they don't, and we don't keep doing it if it doesn't work. But we will continue to grow in that way and in new ways as well through different offerings to our customers.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I certainly appreciate you taking a few minutes here to have this interview with carwash.com, and we wish you all the best moving forward.
Well, thank you for having me today. I appreciate it, and glad to come anytime. It's wonderful. Thank you.